why you came. I know my mother forced some people. No?
No, no.
Oh no, she's...
She said,
Bribe them.
bribe them.
So now you have not bribed me.
That is so sweet. We announced it on social media, and to just see that how many people read and how many people come for book events, how many people come, and whether I should do this or whether I should do it online and so on. See, paisa to वैसे भी जाएगा, correct? But I have to see which has the maximum, I would say,
ROI.
meaning, that, see, return on investment तो we hope. कहाँ आता है? आ रहा है आपका? No, we should chat then later. So, but at least the impact should be there. So I'm doing a little session on the calling. I don't know if that is okay with you.
Sure.
Yeah, and then we do a little Q&A. If you have any contrary expectations, you can tell me. No, you all are very polite, yeah? So, okay, fine.
Is that about your calling?
Is that about?
Your calling.
The book? You haven't read it yet.
I haven't.
Okay, good, then you should.
Why not?
Yeah, we have like one pay one free offer here. Which also we are trying
Same
to...
one?
They were giving the same one because apparently people also like to gift a new book. But those who already have it, you can take it for any other book. This book I've written as a male protagonist. All my other books I've written as women in the lead. This is the first book I wrote from a man's mind. And while some may think it's difficult, it was very easy. Yeah, there's not much. Okay. All the men, you have to forgive me. My sense of humor is a little.
Much of complications or confusions?
Sorry?
Not much of confusions and complications or complications?
There's not
Because of
much,
milk?
and therefore there's no confusion or complication. ज़्यादा सोचते ही नहीं है. As long as they can meet up friends and have a good drink, I think life is sorted, no? And if the wife is away at the mother's house for a long time, it's even more sorted. Yeah, so, anyways, I wrote it as a man, and very interesting. You look upset. Is everything?
No, I'm fine. Absolutely fine. Don't worry about it.
See, if I say anything to offend you or upset you, please know I meant everything. And if you are, exceedingly upset, you can raise your hand. I can gift you one of my books. So that should.
Can we start by raising
You also have to look upset. So that would offset it. So I wrote this as a male protagonist, and like I was telling them earlier, it's about salvaging the relationship, and salvaging your own life. So it's an interesting read, and somehow, when you start to sort things out, and you can only do that when you take responsibility, and that's where the subtitle comes, Unleash Your True Self. Okay, so the title is very interesting, Your Calling, and a lot of people tell me, oh, you're following your purpose, which is interesting. Okay, so I want to ask you, how many of you are following your purpose? How many of you know what your calling is? Let me see. Okay, 1, 2, almost everybody. That is so cool. Okay, so ऐसे ही बोले हैं कि seriously. Okay, awesome. So, and those of you who were honest enough not to raise your hand, Sudhir, if you could just bring this down, it's maybe here. You prefer I stand down or here? What is better? Up here with my height a little bit of leverage helps. If you could bring the board here, I would have shifted it myself, but sometimes it falls. So, and once it fell on my nose, this way. And then I had a bleeding nose, taking tissues and still talking. Yeah, because if the speaker gets injured, the audience gets worried. And so after that, I tell somebody else to move the board. Yeah, they can afford to go inside and wipe their nose. Yeah? So, anyways, so the topic is the calling. Okay, now any of you, have you ever felt that you're on your journey? You are following your calling, or that's what everybody thinks. Yet, one day you sit and you wonder, what am I doing in life? And start questioning yourself. Where am I going? What am I doing? How many of you ever felt like that? Well, the whole world thinks, wow. And you're thinking, kai ka wow. Yeah? Like people tell me, oh, you're a speaker, you're a woman and you get paid to talk. I mean, what greater joy can be there? That this is a dream life. Plus you're a writer, you can write anything you want, correct? Kuch bhi likh sakte, right? I don't have to come to you and ask you what shall I write. And yet there are days where I have also felt, is this it? Is this my life's purpose? What am I doing in life? And then people look at you and say, believe. See, I'm telling you out of my experience. Maybe you agree, maybe you disagree, but it's just a viewpoint. You can see if this fits, otherwise we can have a chat later. I feel that it's always a growing space, that it can't be just one thing and that's it, because I have friends who are artists, who are like brilliant actors, musicians, singers, and while you think that, you know, because he's voted India's top singer, his life is all great, and he's wondering, is this it? Is this really my purpose? You know, so it is a growing thing. It doesn't settle in one. In fact, one is a door opener to the next one, to the next one, to the next one. If your calling is not opening several doors higher for you, then that is where the question comes. I'll give you an example. How do you know what is your calling? Okay? Now, a calling generally solves something. You know it is your purpose if it solves something for you. Whether it is as simple as, I want to be happy. Therefore, if you say, my calling is singing because it makes me happy, there has to be a because. You know, some people, they say, my calling is charity or serving people or social work, because I believe in service. That's your calling, whatever it is that it is trying to solve for you. It could be something as world peace. You know, some people are driven by that. Then they make a whole business or a whole work model around it. Even if it is, Sudeep, this is going to fall. Even if it is something, even if it is something like money, okay? What is it trying to solve for you? Even if it is money and it handles that, it can be your calling, okay? So I'll give you an example. When I was a teenager, you know, we came from a lower middle class family. Anyone came from a lower middle class family? I mean, now you could be like super rich. Yeah, but your upbringing was low middle class. Okay, so then you know what I'm talking about. When you get hand-me-down clothes. Yeah. So, anyways, when you get hand-me-down clothes is because, of course, your parents can't afford too many new clothes, and then you had cousins your size. It's a terrible place to be. Yeah. So, anyway, so I came from a lower middle class background, and you know, we needed pocket money. Did you ever get pocket money as kids? Yeah. My God, you all were really spoiled. Yeah. So we used to get pocket money, charana. You know charana?
I used to get 5 paise. So
I am very happy to know that. Yeah. I don't know what value that had, but sir, let me tell you, we used to get charana as pocket money, and my dad used to give us that money to put in the pocket. When we came back home, we had to give it back.
Yes.
Yeah, so that was pocket money. Yeah, it's in your pocket, but you cannot spend it. Yeah, so that is how we were brought up. And then I said, I want to make money. That was my intention. I wanted to solve it. Tell me, how many of you are working because you want the money? Money is the objective, correct? Nobody is working for free. You want the money. So when I was 13 years old, I said, I want to make money. Like that is the aspiration most of you have. But look, in this room of about 25 odd people, yeah, we were betting, so that number is important. So in this room of about 25 odd people, we all want to make money. But our solution is going to be 25 different things, correct? Right? So she's going to say, okay, I'm going to start an NGO. Alright? I would say I am going to be a teacher. That's how I want to generate money. Shania would say, I want to, how do you tell your game? I want to play a game, or how do you say that? Tennis. I want to be, you know, an Olympic tennis champion, let's say. Okay? And you say, I want to be a doctor. Look, how many different responses. Now the fact that I said I want to be a teacher is a clue for me that it hints towards my calling. Okay? The fact that she didn't say I want to be a teacher, she said NGO, means there's something about this that interests her, or that's innate to her, or that comes naturally. You understand the point I'm trying to make? Why did Shania say she wants to have, you know, start a charity firm? Because there's something about play in her. Yes? So each one of us have different responses to even the same purpose, and that response is your calling if it is your own. Okay, now I could try and convince her saying, no, you become a doctor, that will give you more money. Have you not been advised on that?
Yeah.
Yeah, lawyer has greater potential. Hey, but she wants to play, right? And then maybe at one point you could convince her that become a lawyer. Have you met people like that?
Yeah.
They actually wanted to play the guitar. Okay, do you think guitarists make money?
Yes.
Of course. Yes, but somehow, in my viewpoint, because I have seen a lot of guitarists not make money, I'm going to convince Shania, if I'm elder to her, and if I have more influence in her, that become a lawyer. Have you met people like that? Yes? Okay? That's not her calling, that's my influence. Right? So if she becomes a lawyer, is she in trouble? Big time.
Yes.
How many of you are in trouble like that? Yeah? Okay, some of you. But there is still hope. Alright, so this is a clue. So when I was a teenager, I said I want to be a teacher. So what I started to do is, I started to teach these kids in my class. Okay? And I taught for over 9 years. I taught over 1900 students. Okay? Shahid Kapoor was one of my students. See, we have to tell. Yeah? If you add glamour in whatever you do, even if it is another person, you know, that raises you up a little. So anyways, I taught for 9 years. Now look, like I said, the calling is not an end. Your passion is not an end. It must open another door for you. Now while I was a teacher, okay, or while you're a player, or while you're a guitarist or a doctor, does that journey bring up new skills?
Yes.
Does that journey bring your own growth?
Yes.
If that journey has brought your own growth or helped develop more skills, then you're on the right path. But if that journey made you stagnate, you understand stagnate?
Yes.
Then something is wrong, then maybe it was not your calling. So as a teacher, okay, I learned public speaking skills, yes? Yeah? Did I plan to be a public speaker? No, I was a teacher, so I added one skill, public speaking, okay? Does it teach you to build relationships?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, now look, multiple relationships, which is with the students and their parents, you understand? Now that's a powerful relationship where you understand this student who's probably your age, his viewpoint, and you also understand the parent's viewpoint. Can you imagine that? And that is an amazing place to be, where you have, you know, these people as your friends and these people as your friends. Then is money management a part of it? Finances? You have to be, because you're earning money. Then does it involve service?
Yes.
Excellence? Because if you send me your boy to study, I have to ensure that he delivers the marks, correct? Otherwise, who's answerable? The teacher. Yeah, of course you will beat the child at home, but you'll also come and take my case, right? Yeah, please do not beat them at home. And take the case of the teachers. So a lot of skills began to emerge from here. Now as a player, what are the skills that are coming out? How have you grown? Now look carefully at that. If the answer is nothing, you're in trouble. Because you're going to sit here at the end of the match and say, what am I doing in life? Yeah? As a doctor, what skills are coming out? As a musician, what new personality traits are coming out? Because I tell you, after 9 years, I was saturated. See, I tell you, a teacher is a very noble job, but it also puts you in a box. Itna hi curriculum hai. Correct? Yeah, you can only play within this much. You can't teach out of the book, right? Because there's already less time to teach within the book. So there was one time, I reached one time where I knew where was that answer in which para, which page. While you may say, wow, that's dangerous. That how robotic or mechanical you have become, that you even know where that word is on what page. So after 9 years, I said, "Ye bahut ho gaya, that's it, I want to quit." Have any of you ever felt that you are saturated and want to quit? Even though you're doing financially so well. Okay, now bring it up to somebody. Bring it up. So I went and told my dad, I want to leave this. I don't want to teach anymore. I think I'm done. What will they tell you? First of all, they will question your sanity. Right? Huh? Exactly. Take a break. Take a holiday. But the holiday won't do anything, right? You can take as many holidays. But the thing is, you've saturated that box, that job does not allow me to grow. Get it? And it then at that point is not even about the money, correct? You're doing so financially well, but even that money doesn't excite you. Now check this out. You started for the money and it no longer excites you. So now what is the next door opening? Okay? I then said, okay, what do I love to do? And I took my next step to become a motivational speaker. Okay, now tell me, why was my first response when I wanted to solve money as a problem at the age of 13? Why didn't I say I want to be a motivational speaker? I didn't have the skills.
And you weren't aware of it?
I wasn't aware of it. And I wanted to be a motivational speaker at a time where motivational speaking did not even exist. You know, the speakers who did speak were like 4 times my age. You know, grey hair was the norm. If you do not have grey hair, we do not listen to you. Yeah? And I had to put on spectacles just to look older than my age. So, motivational speaker then was not an option. But where did this motivational speaking opportunity come from? From my teaching, the skills that I developed. Because you see, motivational speaking is not about being a good speaker. It's also about this relationship you have with the audience. Yes? Yeah? To connect with people from different walks of life, to connect with people from different ages. That's what I was doing as a teacher. It's a skill that came up. Okay? And when you handle 1900 students, you know people management a little bit. Right? This batch and that batch and so on. So motivational speaking also needs those skills. So I became a motivational speaker. And I tell you, even though in the beginning, the money was lesser than the money I was making as a teacher, it was more exciting, yes? Yes. It's exciting, right? You're learning something and it's all new and so on.
Yeah, you're doing new things. So.
And it now solves another purpose. See, when I moved to motivational speaking, now money was not the drive. It no longer was the drive. It was about inspiring people. I want to inspire people. And money, I had seen enough. See, as a teenager, if you're the richest kid on the block, then you're like, okay, you are confident that I will never be broke. I will certainly make it. Okay? So, do you think there are some skills that develop from being a motivational speaker? Yes. Now you're super good with people. Yes? Yeah. Then I tell you, a motivational speaker, when I speak and I go home, there are already 10 emails in my inbox. You spoke so well, you know, this was so good. If nothing else, at least they'll comment on my dress. You know, so at the end of it, I know there will be 5 or 10 really good comments that would make me want to speak another day or live a day longer. Yeah, there is this author, budding author, he's just starting out, and he says, Priya, I look at your fan following and I'm worried if I will ever be able to start my career as an author. And I said, what? He said, you put one post and there are so many people commenting on your dresses. He said, I'm neither, he said, I'm neither pretty nor colorful. So 75% of people will not follow me. Yeah, then what I do sometimes, I hand write the posts and I put it. Then he said, now I have to take a calligraphy class. Because now people are complimenting you on your handwriting also. Yeah, so about 10% on the content of the post, but 90% on aesthetics of it. So anyways, about handling, I would say, what do you call? Praise? How would you say?
Acknowledgement?
Acknowledgement, praise, and so on. Because I tell you, after one point, no, it can destroy you. And that's the biggest destruction of an artist if he doesn't know how to handle praise. And by artist, I mean athletes, musicians, writers, painters, whoever is a daily wage earner, who doesn't have an income waiting at the end of the month. Because they can tell you you're so good that you won't practice anymore. Yeah? And that's exactly what they want. Yeah? So to handle acknowledgement and praise, okay? Then what are the skills coming out from motivational speaking?
Concentration.
Concentration. I could be having a bad day today, right? Could be. But it cannot show in my talk or my face. Right? Have you seen sometimes an employee walk into the office?
Sorry.
What do you want?
You have to get the lights off.
The lights are coming on the eyes.
Straight in the eyes, straight in the eyes.
Oh, okay.
Thanks.
Please handle that.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for bringing it up. Paul, you would have left then. Yeah. So what was I saying? An employee walks in. Yeah, I could be having a bad day. Have you seen an employee walk in a bad mood? Yes. You see your boss also walk into a bad mood, into the office in a bad mood. Can I walk in here in a bad mood? I can't. My career is over. I can't afford it, right? So to have mastery over your emotions, whether positive or negative, I think is the highest skill ever, right? You're hurting from inside, but you're inspiring people on the outside. Yeah? True. Ask us. But the beauty of it is that when I start a talk, okay, no matter how much I'm hurting, at the end of it, I myself am inspired. Yes? No matter what is going on, yeah, when you win that game, whatever was going on doesn't matter. Yeah? So I'm the greatest beneficiary, if you see on that, mastery over moods, I think is what everybody should learn or know, okay? To create stories. Is that a skill? Yes. Let's say you come again for my next talk. I can't talk the same thing again. So I have to tell you a different story, right? Otherwise you won't come. So to create different stories, I have been speaking for the past 18 years. It's a long journey. But am I growing as a person? Yes. Are there new skills coming out? Yes. Even if it is finance management. And then there reaches a point of saturation. You understand? It's no longer a challenge. You wake me up from the middle of my sleep and say talk and I'll start talking. Yeah? I feel that I have reached that place of mastery over my profession, and that's when came the new calling, which is books, which is writing. Okay, where did that come from? It came from here, because newspapers and magazines would approach me, can you write an article? You know what you spoke, can you write an article? From there, writing into books is amazing. Now, when I wanted to solve this problem of money first, I did not say I want to be an author. An author was the gate 3 that opened from teacher to motivational speaker to author. You get it?
Yes.
Yes, and that is how it came about. And that is a frustration a lot of people feel when this is the only thing they are going to do all their lives. Yeah, so this is, I think, the first thing. And it is not what somebody else has told you. If somebody else has told you lawyer, like I said, then you are in trouble. Okay? Now, I really admire people who are following their calling, which also means that if you're on the track of your dreams or your purpose, it also means that there are people around you who have supported you, correct? Yes, whether it's your family, whether it's your friends, so God has blessed you with both hands. That you've had a family who has done that for you, and I've been fortunate that my parents allowed me that. Yeah, you also need to be allowed, no, when you are young and when you are venturing out. So I think anybody who has been supported by their family on their way back should stop at a temple, break a coconut and say thank you, Lord. Because I tell you, I do so many workshops, she's already saying thank you. That is so sweet. I know so many people who have grown old, fed up with their lives and cursing the hell out of their parents. My mother didn't let me do this, my father didn't let me do this, and whoever was the influencer didn't let me do this. Okay? So I think gratitude in that direction is worthy. Yeah? And my mom is my greatest supporter. You know, when somebody tells me, you know, you are quite something, and I say, meet my mother. Yeah, then you will find out where these genes come from. Yeah, if you already think I'm, you know, 100%, multiply that by 10 for my mom. Yeah, she's sitting there with a broken hand. Do they know the story, Mom?
No. We don't understand the story.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I have to tell you, listen from me, I'm the storyteller. Yeah? Then my next book is going to be on her. We had gone to Spain, okay? And see, my mother is an adventure person. I think she thinks what she can do, I can do. She looks at me, if she can do it, I can do it. But she forgets we have an age difference. Yeah? See, after a point in time, no, you can't do the things which even you did when you were 15, right? So we decided to do a tour of the city of Madrid on the Segway. You know the Segway?
Yes.
Everybody knows, right?
Yes.
Is that 2 rolling wheels with that thing? Yeah?
The wheels always roll.
Oh yeah. The rolling wheels, the wheels always roll. Yeah? Unless it's a showpiece which is not meant to roll off. Yeah? Okay, so we went to Spain. So I told my mother, why don't you sit in the coffee shop and read the Hindi translation of my book? while Priyanka and I go around the city on the Segway. Because there's a little doubtful she could fall, yeah? I mean, if you have a 70-year-old mom, would you not be worried? Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not just the parents who worry for the kids also worry for the parents.
Hello, I've done my more challenging one.
I know, I was there. Yeah, so I told her, wait this one out, and she said, no, I can do it. Alright? What will you tell a 70-year-old mother if she says, I can do it and I'm a motivational speaker? I will take it, karo. So everything was okay. Yeah? So she was on the Segway, everything was okay. Yeah? And then she was distracted by a musician who was playing so well. See, if it is your calling, you will lead people even in the ditch. Yeah? So, like the Pied Piper, he was playing so well that while this was me in front, then Priyanka, then my mother. He was playing so well, I came and I stopped to listen to him. Then Priyanka came and stopped to listen to him. And my mother didn't stop. She was only looking at him, and she banged into Priyanka and fell on her arm. Alright, and she broke her elbow into 4 pieces. So while we picked her up, like you don't know what happened. So while we picked her up and made her sit, there was blood, pouring like a tap, like bleeding. And we didn't say anything because we didn't want to tell her, look, so much blood is coming out. Yeah, don't scare somebody who's already hurt. So it's okay because you can't do anything. Yeah, the doctors, am I right? Not to scare the person. So anyway, she's bleeding profusely, has multiple fractures, and the ambulance came after 40 minutes. So you can imagine the 70-year-old state.
I can't give her.
नहीं, आप जानते नहीं स्पेन में क्या क्या हुआ? We were sitting there and appreciating our country. Yeah? So anyways, so she was there with blood dripping, fainting, passing out. Okay, and it's horrific when you see your own mother, and in your mind you're like, I told you so. Please do not tell people I told you so when they are hurt. Okay? Tell them I told you so when they get well. So anyways, they took her in the ambulance, and now we're waiting outside. We don't understand Spanish and so on. And the doctor comes out and he tells us blah 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 in Spanish. And I was trying to use my extrasensory perception to understand what is he saying. Yeah, and catching a few words like okay. Yeah, so it was terrible. And while I'm talking to him, suddenly the ambulance is jerking. Okay? That's scary. Your mother's inside and the ambulance is jerking up and down, and I don't know what in the world is going on. Are they trying to, what's that thing?
Resuscitate.
What is that thing called, Nikhil, where they put those 2 clamps
Defibrillator.
Huh?
The defibrillator. Shocking the defibrillator.
Okay, in my terminology, reviving a dead person.
So resuscitate.
Resuscitate, reverberate, vibrate, whatever. Okay, so anyways, then finally, they open the door to the ambulance and I go inside, and my mother is like all lost, listless. Then she's holding my hand and saying, Priya, ek baat kehni thi. So while she's holding me and saying, Priya, ek baat batane thi, and I'm choked to, you can understand the situation, right? Choked, that I'm still holding back the tears. What is she going to tell me? And then she says, हमने ना 1 घंटे के पैसे दिए थे सेकंड के। मैं तो आधे घंटे में गिर गई। आधे घंटे के पैसे देख लो, मिलेंगे कि नहीं? The doctor looks worried. You're worried about a half an hour refund of a Segway. I tell you, all the lights vanished and I was appalled. What is wrong with you? Yeah, so that's my mother. She's with the cast. Yeah, but she had fun. Yeah, we'll do it again. So the point I was trying to make is that if your parents are supportive, I think it's an amazing life. क्योंकि आधी जान ना वहीं निकल जाती है. When you're fighting in the house and you're fighting for your dreams, and when you make it, it's not even worth it, right? And whose responsibility is it? It's 2 ways. It's not just one way. And then people make it and they don't even give credit to their parents. I think the parents have the biggest hand if you have made it somewhere or the other, whether you chose to see it or you didn't choose to see it. So it's the point to end this point was, it is your calling if it is solving something, if you decided it. Please don't listen to people. See, if you come to me and say, what shall I do in life? I'll tell you, be a writer. I'll convince you also to be one. And I'll tell you how easy it is. How easy it is to write stories. But actually it's easy for me. I was made for that. It's not for you. Right? If I come to you, you will convince me on social work. You will convince me to be a doctor is the noblest work in the whole world. Right? We can't think beyond ourselves. And I think that's the pitfall. Ask the question, what do you love to do? There can be a business model around it, right? Yes, you know, in Dubai airport, you will find, now they have it in other airports as well. There are these little cubicles called the sleeper chamber. What?
The pods.
Sleepy cat or something like that. So you can hire that little room which just has one bed and nap for 2 hours. You know, and they charge you by the hour. And if you're a frequent flyer and a very frequent traveler, you know the value of 1 hour of sleep. Yeah, so we actually pay money. My mom also slept, right? 2 hours. We actually paid money to just sleep in transit. Yeah, but look, what a brilliant idea. You're charging people to sleep. That's a business model. You know, so when I first saw this in Dubai, I hunted the contact of the guy that how did you come up with this idea? And he said, I love to sleep. Only a person who loves to sleep knows the value of sleep and people pay for it. You can make a business model of anything. Who is to judge? What would you love to do to sleep? And how can you capitalize on that? Let's figure. Instead of saying, "Bewakoof hai." You get it? Yeah? So, the calling has to be your answer. And if it is your answer and you're born, then there is a use for it and it could inspire people. So, now let's say you are a motivational speaker and now you wake up and say, I want to be a writer. I was born to be a writer. This I'm saying today, while I was convinced 5 years ago, I was born to be a speaker. Okay, but things change. So what should you do? Let's say you're doing a job, okay, and you want to be a writer and you want to be a writer, or you want to be a singer, or you want to be a musician, or you want to be, you know, somebody who capitalizes on sleep or anything, but you're doing a job. How do you do that? Can you? Can you be an Olympic champion if you're still doing a job? No. Can you start your own band if you're still doing a job?
Yes.
Who said yes?
You can.
You can.
Because obviously you need to do it post.
No, not fully. You can't give 100% yes.
So what should you do? Should you quit your job and then do it? You know, there are people on the verge of that. You don't know how many emails I get that I'm fed up of my job and I'm going to quit. And I tell you, if you're going to quit on your job to be a singer, is the best mistake you would have made in a long time. Yeah, because it's not going to happen. You see, generally you will see these geniuses or people who are following their dreams, they started very early in life, right? I started very early. See, you also started obviously very early. Yeah, Shania? Yeah, as a teenager. Yeah, you look at Steve Jobs, he started very early. Yeah, you look at Lata Mangeshkar, started very early. Sonu Nigam, Sachin Tendulkar. Look at all of these people who made it to the top in their own fields. They started early because when you start early, you're actually learning at somebody else's expense. Correct? Your parents are funding it, so money is taken care of. You still have food to eat, you still have a place to go home, and you don't have additional responsibilities. But today when you're in a job, you have a family to take care of, right? You have other responsibilities. So my encouragement to you is that get your kids started early. If you think it's already too late, don't spoil their lives till they grow up. Yeah, that could be the greatest takeaway. Figure what is it that they want and push them toward it. So it's too late, but there is still hope. Because you see, this career of a singer, you can actually create magic with it because you have a job. Because you have a job, you can be a magician at it. There's this friend of mine, he's you know, the CEO of an organization, and he said, Priya, after I retire, I will write a book. And I said, that's great. After you retire, who will read your book? And the best time to write the book and capitalize on it is while you're still the CEO, correct? At least थोड़ा तो influence है ना? एक बार कुर्सी गई तो कौन पूछता है? Isn't it? Yeah. An ex-CEO doesn't have as much value as a CEO does. Then you know at least 500 people in your organization will buy the book. Just to show you, sir, we got your book during appraisal time. So at least your 500 sale is confirmed. And if it's a good book, maybe two more will sell. You can't quit on your job. Because you see, you still need your job to support you, right? Yeah, I write books, by the way. I have written 8 books. If you buy one book, I get 19 rupees. Might as well don't buy the book, give me the 19 rupees. Yeah, it's a tough life. How can I afford to sustain this? Is because I have a job as a motivational speaker which funds my career as a writer. Otherwise, you see writers walking around with the thela, right? Yeah, they can't even afford a purse. Yeah, you see singers with long messy hair because they can't afford a haircut. So you need this job to fund your passion. Yeah, quitting is not the answer. The mistake I made was when I was a teacher, I quit that and I became a motivational speaker. Okay? And if you're going to take that step and say, nahi karna hai, you're so fed up of it, then at least ensure that you have 3 years worth of money to sail you through, because that's the time it will take for you to learn how to write, to get your things right and to move. That when you started as a child or as a teenager singing, it took you that much time, right? कोई फुर्सत में जाके रियाज करते थे, सीखते थे, or you would run or whatever it is that you would do. So if you do not have a 3-year escrow, go take a loan if you're that confident. Please give me 50 lakhs loan. I want to build a career as a singer. I'll return it to you after 8 years. 3 years I need to sustain myself, and there are people who might support you. You never know. Yeah, then that depends on what you have done in all these years. Yeah, if they stop answering your calls after that, then you go to the next step. No matter where you are in life, whether you're doing a job and you're miserable, or whether you're following your calling and are struggling, or a blend of both, there is one thing that will take you, skyrocket you to success, even if you don't have that kind of talent, and that is relationships. And I tell you, your biggest yardstick of relationships is, what is your relationship at home? If your relationship at home sucks, then people can see that fake in you, right? Have you not tried to, has somebody not tried to be so nice to you and you're still wary? What does he want? Why is he so nice to me? Have you met people like that? Yeah? And then they will come to you and ask you for something, right? Relationships means that you invest, that you give. Why do people make relationships these days in business? I'll take him out for lunch, then I will get the business from him. That's not a relationship, it's a transaction. Okay? What I mean by relationship is invest and give. And I will tell you this guy will not give you the business, but he will introduce you to Arvind, who will give you the business. And that's what you want. See, don't use your relationships. That's the worst thing to do. Don't use them. Don't go asking for help. Because we as people, we want to help, isn't it? It's in our nature to help. Have you done that? Help people who never asked for it? Yes, and if you have invested in the relationship and he knows that you're preparing for the Olympics and falling short of the money, could be I don't have it, but I know somebody who does, and that's what people do naturally. But they will do it for you and tell Arvind, I will take guarantee, you please give her the funds. Alright? Yes? When you have invested enough in them to build the goodwill. Give. Please. Investment means give, not gifts. Because chances are you'll give him something he doesn't like. Have you ever got a gift and never wore it? Anyone? Got a gift and never used it? Then don't get into all this gift business unless you really know the person and the choice. Yeah? But give your time, give encouragement, give compliments, That's what everything sustains on. Okay? And the one thing you build the relationship fastest on is encouragement. No matter what, encourage, 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 because you don't know how broken that person is at that time, even though they have a smile on their face. Has it ever happened to you? Yes. Broken inside, and then you smile, and that guy says, "You're a rock star." And you're like, "Really? I was just going to quit." You don't know what just one kind word, and this comes from strangers usually, can do to a person, and he will never forget you. You remember those people, right? Who at that time, without even knowing it, gave you a pat on the back and so on, and that helped you move on. Why can't you be that person? Because you know, that guy one day will come around and help you like you never, without you asking, like he never asked for it. So, your calling has to be your initiative, your answer. If it's not your answer, it's still not too late. You can make the shift, right? But chances are very high when you become so big, they won't let you quit. Because this guy I was telling you about, he wanted to host shows, and now he's become big. From weekends, now he's getting other offers. So he went back to his company and said, I want to take up a career in hosting. And they said, no, you still stay with us. We'll give you leaves whenever you want to go. Because you see, hosting is not a 30-day job. It's maximum and 8 to 10 days. And you make triple the money than you would have in your job. So he's doing both, yeah, if you're that good. Invest in relationships. Don't use people. Give. And if you have given it right, they will come back and support you. And I have found that people sometimes are too scared. They are too scared to, make that shift. Have you ever felt that?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you're so stuck that, you want to be a singer. You want to be a musician. You want to be a player. You want to take up something. But then you get so consumed by your day next day that this whole talk is over. Who I coming? And I भूल गए करना था हाँ अच्छा लगा good reminder one day I will do it. Okay, if that day has not come until now, it's probably never going to come, and one day you then you'll say next life I will do it. Yeah, if you forget, you'll forget the next lifetime too. And here is what I urge people to do: build that muscle of following what you love to do. And I say indulge in small love. Because the calling is actually big love. It's a big responsibility. Okay? But because so much is needed to get there, we don't even take the first step. So I say indulge in small love. Okay? We are so used to not doing what we love. Correct? We are so used to that. We are so used to this term called sacrifice that we have forgotten ourselves, right? So small love means what would you love to do today? What would you love to do? ये पता भी नहीं आपको. What would I love to do? I don't know. I don't know what I love anymore. I don't know what makes me happy anymore. You need to wake up and read my book first. You need to take that one step. See, we have to sell, right? Because after you take up your calling, then you have to sell it to others, which is what I'm doing right now. What would you love to do? Let's say before the end of the day, you have 4 hours. What would you love to do? Itni gehri soch. Someone is visibly upset.
I like to just have some rains outside and go out and
Drinks outside and go?
No.
What? Drinks?
Just enjoy the rains outside.
Rains?
Yes.
Thank God. Yeah. Okay, so you'd like to go walking in the rain?
Yeah.
Okay, what's your name, sir?
Rajiv Kumar.
Oh, of course. Thank you for coming. Yeah, so Rajiv Kumar says, I would love to go out and walk in the rain today. Isn't it so nice, that feeling? Yeah, so now it is 8 o'clock in the night and his wife asked him, "Kahan ja rahe ho?" He says, "Barish mein bheegne." First response is tabiyat theek hai. Okay, because if you love to do something, you have to first be unwell or crazy. Okay, and then he says, "Haan theek hai. I just want to do something what I love." then she'll say, I have made so many sacrifices. You're going walking in the rain while I'm sitting here watching the kids and making food, and then he'll say, Chodo, kal jaunga. Because he doesn't want to get into another fight, another argument. Yeah? Why? I married you, that was the biggest sacrifice. I'm just saying, if you don't say no, I will not go soon enough. Yeah, then I'm just joking, huh? I don't know anything about his personal life. Yeah, some people were a little shocked. You have to know my sense of humor is a little on the other side.
I thought you have a camera in my place.
Well, we hear it all the time at home that we know the dialogue. Yeah? And those who don't have it going on at home, you have television to tell you what goes on in her kahani. Okay, so then his wife says, why do you think I'm sitting like that? Because you see, people are not used to doing what they love to do. What are they most used to is discouragement. Yes? So while this fellow, loves to play cricket, who are you to tell that he cannot be a part of the Indian Premier League? Who are you to say? Who gave us that judgment? Sushmita Sen, before she won the first contest, Miss India. Okay? So there was a friend of mine who was sitting next to her. He says, "Mujhe pehle pata hota, that she would become so big. I would have definitely, done something to get to know her." Right? But who are you to tell? One flight before the big day, she met 50 people. Did any of them know who she will become 4 days from then? Who are you to tell? Yeah, but when the boy is playing cricket, what will the father say? He said, "Khelna band kar, padhai kar." Har koi Sachin Tendulkar nahi banta. But nobody wants to be Sachin Tendulkar. He wants to be Rohan Kumar. Okay? फिर और कोई रोहन कुमार नहीं बनेगा. He will be Rajiv Kumar. You understand? Right? So people discourage us so much from following our love that we reciprocate by discouraging 10 others daily. And it is going to start in your house starting 2 hours from now when you announce something that you want to do, just small love. अब इस पे 2 बातें सुनने को मिली. Now go and say I want to be a musician. हमारी तो बैंड बजा रहे हो 6 साल से. अब आगे जाके बजाएंगे. Get it? Go home. You'll become writers very easily. And what happens when you announce your dreams? So I would say, before you do this, at least invest in a relationship and encourage. When your own family today at this point will stop you, which means you have also stopped them before, for them to stop you today. So a step-by-step process would be, ask your wife, what would you love to do? Go walking in the rain. Go. And she'll ask you, are you well? Who are you going to call home while I'm gone? Yeah? Do you have a friend's night out at home or whatever? You get it? People cannot believe it when you support them or encourage them. But start today. At least after 10 days, they'll be convinced that you're normal and there's going to be a happier life ahead. Don't be discouraged. Right? Yes?
Yes.
Yeah. Don't stop. At least start. Because I will give you a guarantee card that if you cannot start with small love today, forget your calling. Because your calling is the big thing. And it all goes hand in hand. I would never have made it here if I didn't have great relationships. If I didn't have my parents supporting me continually. Of course, I make a joke about my mom and her fall, which she will forget by the time we go home. Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, but since her hand is in the cast, I don't think she will forget. Yeah? She will remember and she might have made notes. If you have enough relationships who support you, I think you're sorted. And if on a daily basis, you can do something even for 5 minutes or 10 minutes or half an hour that you love, then you have that practice of indulging in love. Because your purpose takes a great deal of compassion to follow, even if your purpose is to be the biggest businessman on the planet. Because there is a really big businessman who helps the world, right? Warren Buffett? Bill Gates? Yeah? Who's to judge? So I thought that using the calling as my book, the title, I could do a little talk around it. Yeah, maybe all of it doesn't apply to you, maybe it didn't make sense to you, maybe you think differently, but that's okay. At least I presented a viewpoint. Yeah, so I'd like to hear from you. Does that make sense? Yes? So do you have any questions? I know 2 people do. Yeah, any questions, anything I can help you with? Of course you're come. There will be cupcakes as promised.